Hello, everyone, and welcome to our presentation. We are the Office of Fraternity and Sorority Life. Thank you so much for tuning in with us today. We hope that you walk away from this presentation knowing more about our office and all that we have to offer. We are a three-person team headed by our director, Dr. Jameson Keller, who is also an assistant dean. Myself, Janice McKenzie, I serve as the assistant director within our office, and then I'll let Maddie introduce herself.
Hi everyone, my name is Maddie Smythe and I am the coordinator of Fraternity and Sorority Life here at Tech, and we are so happy that you are tuning into our presentation. So we will go ahead and get started. The first thing that we wanted to talk to you about is academics within our fraternity and sorority community. So I think there's oftentimes a stereotype that gets cast on Greek members that they aren't as academically motivated as their unaffiliated peers, and that is certainly not the case here at Georgia Tech. We are so proud that our fraternity and sorority community consistently has a higher GPA than their unaffiliated counterparts. So you can see some of those numbers on the screen here. Our members are supported through a number of different initiatives put on by each chapter. That ranges from study hours, mentors within your major, maybe an older member and a younger member, different tutoring options that they get connected to. And then that really contributes to the academic excellence of our community. In terms of campus involvement within the community, there's a number of leadership positions that are offered right away as soon as you join a fraternity or sorority. And that ranges within your own chapter or within your entire governing council, which we will talk a little bit about later. In addition to leadership opportunities within your own Greek organization, 87% of fraternity and sorority members are also involved in other campus organizations. And so our students are certainly making huge impacts at Georgia Tech in a number of different ways. That ranges from tour guides to student government to other clubs, ambassadors, and things like that. So it's really a good opportunity to gain some of those softer skills of leadership that everybody talks about that can definitely help you in the future.
So in addition to everything Maddie just mentioned, our students make a large impact on the community locally and globally. Last year, overall, they raised over $400,000 in philanthropic contributions and contributed over 62,000 hours in community service. Our students are driven and giving back to their local community as well as impacting globally. 2 years ago, this is actually the anniversary of our CPC women spearheading a mission, a trek to Senegal, which is in South Africa. Which is in West Africa, that helped to build the foundation for a school. And so just to give you a peek into the mindset of our students when it comes to giving back to the community that gives so much to them. And it offers valuable connections. So for many of our students, when they join these organizations, they look towards the members within the organizations to offer mentorship, that big brother, big sister, little sister partnership where you can get that support from someone who has been in the situations that you're in, whether that's in the stage of life and classes that you're a part of, but someone that you can look towards that offers support and just that network. And then speaking of network, when our students join these organizations, they are now entering into hundreds and thousands of people who also affiliate with them. And so when they go to career fairs, when they are looking for job opportunities, often when people see that they are a part of these distinguished organizations, they recognize the hard work and the driven mindset and attitude that goes along with being a member of a Greek letter organization.
So now we want to give you a little bit of an overview of what our community looks like and how it is governed. So we have about 55 chapters total, and as you can see, they are separated into 4 different governing councils. So that is the Collegiate Panhellenic Council, Interfraternity Council, Multicultural Greek Council, and the National Panhellenic Council. So Janice and I will kind of go into the details about each of those councils next, but I hope that this gives you a good overview of kind of how we separate all of our chapters. They are organized into their councils primarily based on how they do the recruitment process. And so the recruitment process does look differently for all of them, and we'll go into that as well. So the first community we'll give you a little snapshot of is the Collegiate Panhellenic Council. We call this CPC for short. Here are some lovely pictures of the women that are involved in this community. So there are 10 chapters. The CPC community at Georgia Tech really focuses on women's empowerment. They, share, have meetings where they share career advice and tips. They support each other in the job market. They, are involved philanthropically, socially, and, it all creates one good experience for all of the women. So in terms of recruitment, they do recruitment formally in August, the week before school starts. So this year, that will be the Thursday before the first day of classes during a week of welcome. Will be the first day of recruitment, and you can keep checking on our website and CPC's website and social media accounts for the registration link, which will go live in April to register for recruitment. So recruitment is a great opportunity to meet all of the chapters before committing to one. It's a formalized process. You're paired with a recruitment counselor to help you throughout the process as well, and to kind of debrief some of your feelings on the chapters. 9 out of 10 of our CPC chapters have a house on campus. So in terms of dues, in a financial obligation, it ranges, if the chapter is housed or not, if there is a meal plan, and we'll go into that detail in a little bit. But the next community that we want to talk about is the Interfraternity Council, IFC for short. So underneath this governing council, as you can see, we have 31 fraternities. Here are some pictures of our fraternity men here at Georgia Tech. This is our oldest community at Tech. So really when Georgia Tech was founded, 3 years later, in 1888, the first IFC fraternity was founded. So really this has been a pillar of the Institute since its founding. Fraternity life has. So our IFC community is very robust with 31 different chapters, and the IFC community governs those. So joining one of these organizations is a great way to get involved, continue to pursue your high academic achievement, service to the community, and gain access to some really wonderful alumni that serve as mentors for these men. The recruitment process for IFC happens each semester. The larger recruitment process usually, that one is in August. It mirrors the same timeline that CPC does, so it'll start the week before classes due during week of welcome. You can check back on our website and on the IFC social media pages and their own website for a link to register for recruitment in the coming months. They also do a smaller recruitment in the spring semester for those students who weren't interested in joining their first semester. It's much smaller, but people still join then as well, so that's also something to think about. 29 of our IFC chapters are housed, so that's the majority of them. And so in terms of dues, they range between all of them. But if you're looking to live in a chapter house, obviously you'd be paying rent just as you would in any other place that you would be living.
So next up, I'm going to talk about the Multicultural Greek Council. MGC is what we refer to them in short. They are a combination of fraternities and sororities. And so here are some pictures that once again showcase our students within MGC. And so as I mentioned, they do have fraternities and sororities in them. MGC focuses on cultural competency and awareness, but they are not culturally exclusive. This is our youngest community here at Georgia Tech, making up a good percentage of our students. and they were established roughly around 2006, 2007, where that need for community within our culturally based students developed. And next, I'll talk about our National Panhellenic Council, NPHC for short, which is our historically African American fraternities and sororities, also referred to as the Divine Nine or D9. Here at Georgia Tech, we have 8 of the 9 fraternities and sororities. Once again, as I mentioned, they are your historically African American fraternities and sororities, but not exclusive to African American students. They often emphasize the awareness and education of African American students and Black students on campus, and providing a community and support for like-minded conversations. If you are interested in joining either an MGC or MPHC organization, that process is a chapter by chapter process. And so in the fall semester, there will be a lot of information that goes out and at the beginning of each semester, so in spring as well, if you are interested in joining. A difference is that for MGC, you can join as a first year, first semester student, but for MPHC, you do have to have at least 12 credit hours, so you can join as a second semester first year student, but you must have some credit hours before joining. And as far as the cost for joining, that price ranges as well, and it is based on chapter by chapter.
So regardless of what council you find yourself in, there are membership responsibilities associated with every chapter. So typically that would look like a weekly chapter meeting that you would be required to attend. Typically they're around an hour, and that's where you discuss the business of the chapter. It's also a great way just to connect with everyone. Everyone in the chapter is in the same room, and so it's always fun. In addition to a weekly chapter meeting, typically in the first semester that you join, you're also going to have a new member education period where you will have some additional meetings just to learn the history and values of the organization before you are initiated. In terms of a financial requirement, there are financial obligations that members are required to pay that we kind of talked about a little bit already, but usually in the first semester that you join, it's going to be a little bit more expensive than the following semesters. So there's usually a one-time joining fee paying for a badge or an initiation fee, and then typically the amount that you're paying as an active member, it goes down with every semester. There might also be social fees associated. It varies on a chapter by chapter basis. So we really encourage you in the recruitment process to ask those questions so that you're fully informed on what your obligations would be. And then in terms of rent, if you choose to live in a chapter house, then obviously you would be paying rent as well. Our chapter houses aren't big enough to hold the entire chapter typically, and so it's not necessarily an obligation, but that is on a chapter by chapter basis on what their requirement is for living in the house if they have one. In addition to finances and meetings, there's also typically a service hour requirement associated with every chapter. They each support a philanthropic organization or have a service partner in the community, and you would be required to put some hours in there as well. I do want to give a note about meal plans, and so for those chapters that are housed on campus, a lot of them also have a meal plan that they require their new members to join, and that's just so that their new members who aren't necessarily living in their house yet still have an opportunity to come to the house, sit, enjoy a meal with their brothers or sisters to get to know each other better. So for first year students who have already opted into the Georgia Tech meal plan that they are required to have as a resident of a on-campus residence hall, there is an option to switch that meal plan to the Greek 100 after joining a fraternity or sorority that has another meal plan. So there's more specifics on this on our website, but essentially the Greek 100 meal plan is a much cheaper option for you to have 100 meals through Georgia Tech Dining a semester, because you would be eating lunch and dinner at a fraternity or sorority house typically during the week. And so the 100 meals will get you through the weekends where you're not going to have a meal served at a fraternity or sorority house, and breakfast throughout the rest of the semester. The idea is that once you would switch to this meal plan, you would get a refund on your Bursars account, since obviously only paying for 100 meals is much cheaper than a full meal plan. So the idea is to take that refund and then just pay it to your chapter for the meal plan that you would be required to opt into. So for more specific questions about meal plans, please feel free to reach out to our office and look at the more detailed information on our website.
So here at Georgia Tech, we believe in transparency, and we believe in making sure our families and students are aware of the decisions that they are making. So as a collective, in August of 2018, Georgia Tech began making public all student organization student code of conduct violations. If you want to take a screen grab of the link that is listed here, you can see any organization that was found within violation of the student code of conduct, so that when you are deciding to join which organization, regardless of fraternity and sorority, you know the student code history that they do have. In addition to this, we really like to put an emphasis on our risk management approach as an office. And so nationally within our Interfraternity Council, all of our organizations have been taking a stance to eliminate hard alcohol within their homes as well as substances. And so here at Georgia Tech, our IFC community was above the curve, and they said as a collective that they wanted to set the trend for the national organizations. And so they have been working very hard to make sure that they are providing a fun experience, but a safe experience for all the members and non-members that come to their events and participate with the organization. Additionally, we put an emphasis on our institute policies. And so here at Georgia Tech, we have a very close relationship with our Office of Student Integrity, who handles all of our judicial processes. We, like I said, want to take a prevention approach to everything that we do. We like to have conversations beforehand. We like to explain the why and really take the time to educate our students and what that means to be good members and healthy members of our community. And lastly, we emphasize heavily on hazing prevention. Here at Georgia Tech, we have a zero tolerance towards hazing, as well as in the state of Georgia, it is a misdemeanor. And all national organizations have an anti-hazing statement, and many students are required to sign when they are joining these organizations, understanding that they know what the hazing statement is. We have a hazing coalition here at Georgia Tech because we wanted to be ahead of the curve once again, and saying that we want our students to know what hazing looks like, so that if there's ever a moment of uncertainty, of unhealthy traditions starting to form, that they know the signs and ways to have positive experiences, as well as we participate in National Hazing Prevention Week, which is always the last full week of September, where we allow our office and our students to have healthy conversations around hazing and how to once again continue to have a prevention mindset so that we can have fraternity and sorority as long as we possibly can and have positive experiences for all of our students.
All right, so some additional things to keep in mind in terms of parent involvement. So if you're a parent tuning into this session, take an extra look at this slide. So it's really important that you understand the recruitment process that your student will be going through. So whether they're going through CPC, IFC, MGC, or NPHC intake or recruitment processes, it's important to understand what that looks like. So ask questions, keep an open mind, and talk to your student throughout the process. A lot of our chapters also host additional family weekend activities. So in partnership with our Parent and Family Programs Office putting on Family Weekend for the entire institute, our fraternities and sororities typically also have a Mother or Father's Day or a Parent Weekend activity that they do in conjunction with that. So stay tuned if your student decides to join. Also talk to your student about financial obligations that would be required of them, and who is going to pay for that, and what will that look like for your family? Is that doable? And encourage them to ask those questions throughout the recruitment process so that you can be fully informed on what they're signing up for. And then certainly contact our office with any questions that you have. We're happy to talk to you. So, on this page, we have some additional ways to get in contact with us. Our website is greek.gatech.edu. We have a general office email, greekgt@gatech.edu, that goes to all 3 of our staff members, and we'll be happy to field questions that way. Our director, Jameson, his email is also listed here, and here is our office phone number. I also want to mention briefly our guide to Greek life. So this was our guide for 2019. We are currently in the process of updating it for 2020, and we'll get it on our website as soon as possible. But right now, the 2019 guide is still available on our website, which takes a deeper dive into some of our communities and different opportunities to be involved. So please take a look at that as well, and let us know if you have questions that aren't answered in that.
Thank you all so much for tuning in to our webinar. We hope that you have found this information very useful and that you are thinking about joining a fraternity and sorority. We cannot wait to have you on campus next semester. And with that, have a great rest of your day.